What about you? What do you bring to the table? Other than
everything. I feel like I hate when girls say that they don't bring nothing to the table but their phone and lip gloss. Like, I hate that. Like, I have 3 businesses. When my man's out of town, I make sure I'm his piece. I make sure I have everything together for him when he's back, when he gets back. Like, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, everything.
Amen.
I feel like it's like a whole bundle of things. So it's like, especially if he's providing, oh baby, you should literally have no worries other than providing. Okay. There should not be no other worries than that. You need to focus on that. Leave everything else for me.
Yeah. What if he told you, listen, babe, I appreciate you so much.
Until you go to jail, nigga.
You're amazing. Yeah. but
until the feds come.
I need that chain off your neck. What you gonna do?
I'm taking it off.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever he says goes. I feel like the man is the king. He's the leader. I'm following his lead. I love a man that can lead. And me, I'm an alpha female. Like,
there we go.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like I am.
And Myron, you're what? A smart.
Yeah.
I am. So to find a man that I feel like could lead is a huge thing. So when I find a man that can lead, I'm submitting. I'm gonna submit for you. Whatever you want me to do, I got you.
Who makes more, you or him?
Him.
Okay.
Yeah, of course you do.
All right. What about you?
Rice for breakfast?
What
if I said I'm a feminine man? Would you find that attractive?
No.
Oh.
So why do you think
I hate
saying
alpha?
Why? Because you're not the first girl to say this ridiculous concept of alpha female. Like, when a girl says I'm an alpha female, that's the equivalent to a guy saying, well, yeah, I'm a feminine man.
No, so I'm an alpha female to other females, but when it comes to my man, I'm in my most feminine state because he's allowing me to be there.
So you're telling me that
down.
okay,
Yes.
so I can wear so by your logic, you're saying you're alpha around other women, right? But then you
Yes.
become a woman when you're with a man, right?
Yes.
All right. What if I decided, I'm going to wear heels when I'm with other dudes, but then I wear shoes when I'm with you?
That is not the type of guy that I will be dating.
So then why would you expect a man to want to be with an alpha female then?
No,
By
that's
your
the
own
thing.
logic.
That's the thing. When he's with me, he's not getting the alpha female. Only other women are getting
But
alpha female.
do you see what I'm doing here?
Yes.
So you're selectively picking when you want to be a lady.
Yeah.
No, not so. When it comes to the man, I'm in my feminine energy.
He understands
But
you.
when I'm in a room full of other women, I do tend to take control.
And here's the thing, when I'm with my guys, I just wear heels.
Yeah,
and then when I get around my lady, I'm a masculine man. Doesn't that sound crazy?
No, I feel like you should soften up when you're around your man. And then when you're out in the business world, you should stand up straight and lead as a woman, especially an entrepreneur as myself that owns businesses and I have people that work for me. I have to project myself in that
All
way.
I'm simply demonstrating is, you said to me, like, you obviously would not be attracted to a guy that wore heels around his friends, right? So, like, I find it interesting always how women want a guy to accept them for being masculine and having these alpha characteristics. Because when you say I'm an alpha female, all you're basically saying is I'm a masculine female.
To women, not to my man, though. My man doesn't see that alpha female of me.
Here's the thing. Do you have an A-type personality?
I'm sorry?
Or do you have an A-type personality? I'm assuming you do if you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Well, people that have A-type personalities, it's very difficult to conceal that. They work all the time. They're very assertive. They're very dominant. It's very hard to conceal that, and men will feel that energy when they hang out with
Very
you.
loud.
And that is why I attract very masculine men. It takes a very masculine man, to deal with a woman like that.
Criminals, army men.
I mean, you said deal with. I mean, that's a terrible. I mean, damn. If a guy's got to deal with you, that's an L.
No, not deal. Okay, you're right. That was the wrong word to use, but to accept that, like but some men like that. Like, she's taking charge, she's running stuff. But with me, she's soft, caring. I see that other side of her that other people don't see. So it goes both ways.
Okay. I wish you the best. What about you? What do you bring to the table?
I don't think men like it.
Yeah, we hate that shit.
And I think that's probably why I'm single too, but I at least own it. Like, I'm pretty aggressive, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, poor me, why am I single, right? Like, I decided to prioritize my career throughout my 20s, and I didn't go out, and I'm not on dating apps, I'm not on Instagram, and I probably have like a very masculine energy with the work that I do and the profession that I'm in, and I don't expect men who are surrounded by women on OnlyFans and Instagram all day that are just sitting around doing nothing but having their sugar daddies pay for their salon appointments while they, go on vacations and crop their man out. Like, that's going to come across as maybe like more feminine.
No, right.
Because I used to think, right? Like, I used to think that, and this is something I'll thank men for, right? I used to be I used to think to myself, oh, well, you know, guys are really going to care about your accomplishments. And as long as I'm like accomplished, a guy's going to have more respect for me than the right? Like, how could he respect this when he's not going to respect me? But at the end of the day, like, if a guy's going to cheat on you, he's going to cheat on you. And you having like a valedictorian position on, like, I was valedictorian, I had a 4.0 GPA, like, I have a lot of accomplishments, I have my shit together, but it still doesn't mean that you're not going to get cheated on. Like, if somebody wants to go cheat, they're going to go cheat, right? And
yes.
they, like, people cheat
We'll
because
cheat with the girl with the 1.0 GPA.
yeah, because maybe they have more feminine energy. I don't know why people cheat. People cheat for different reasons, but I do think that, like, we like to convince ourselves that that's normal, and I've been guilty of it too. But I don't think that that's really how, like, men and women are supposed to operate, right? We've convinced ourselves, because we're living in an era now where women are working, where in the past, right, like, people used to be married for longer periods of time. Now you're lucky if you stay married for 5 years before you get a divorce. Yeah. And people are not necessarily like in monogamous relationships anymore. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there's been like this warped mentality of gender roles. And you're like, people would say, oh, you're a hypocrite, right? Like, you say you're married to the game, Laura. You say that, you're always working, you're too busy. But yeah, like, I'll be lucky as a 30-year-old woman who's going to turn 31 in May. I will be lucky if I ever get a husband. And that's just reality. Like, I will be lucky if I've accepted it. Like, I will be lucky if I ever have a child, right? Because, like, ideally, you would want to. That takes lots to admit.
Most girls would never admit that.
I would want to date somebody for at least, like, 2 years before I get married. So I'm 31 in May, right? Okay. 32, 33. Then it takes like a year to plan a wedding. You're not going to really like get pregnant and have a baby unless you're married and in a committed relationship. And so then what? I'll be 36 and then that's considered a geriatric pregnancy. I never froze my eggs. And, I could adopt, right? And some people will say like, oh, well, you'll be like more sad about not having a kid, but I've accepted it. And I know that I could I used to tell myself, like, oh, how could he cheat? Like, I don't understand. Like, I was so good to him. I paid for shit. I was so nice. I was so loyal. And then it doesn't mean anything. Like, guys don't care about your accomplishments. And this was something that was, like, really hard for me to accept, because I used to be that girl that thought, oh, well, I'm, like, better than all these other girls because I'm not a and I'm smart and, I'm accomplished. They don't give a fuck. They really don't give a fuck. None of you are special. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I'm not a 10. I know that I'm not a 10, right? Like, I know that I'm not the hottest girl. All these other girls, they want to think, like, they want their boyfriends to tell them, like, hey, baby, you're, like, the prettiest girl in the world. Like, oh, if you had the chance to date me or Kim Kardashian, who would you date? Like, of course he's going to fucking say Kim Kardashian, but you want him to say you, right? Yeah. Like, people don't want to accept reality.
You want to date me.
And they're, like, nobody in here is a 10. Right? Raise your hand if you're a 10.
In your opinion.
No. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm just saying.
You state in your opinion. That's your opinion.
Well, I think it's reality. I'm saying that nobody in here is a 10. And the reality is that, like, there are a lot of 10s in Miami, right? There are a lot of 10s everywhere. And if you're older and you're living in a world where, men are surrounded by 10s with a click away, whether it be like Bumble, Tinder, whatever, okay? Like, your chances of really finding a lifelong partner are pretty slim. I think that's the reality that most women need to accept, because...
How many girls on the panel think they're 10s, just out of curiosity?
Are we going by looks, or are we going by personality?
Looks only, because we don't care about...
Men don't care about personality.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
We're going looks only.
Totally kidding.
I feel like everybody should regard themselves in the highest esteem possible. So, you don't feel like you a 10, but... You should.
What if it's not true, though?
That's opinion based.
It is opinion based.
It's every single
European.
Somebody across the world can look at you and be like, "Oh my God, you are a 10."
Yes.
They could start talking to you, and they would think you're
in some places in Africa, the biggest women are the prettiest, are the most beautiful women. That's why it's all.
I appreciate this thing that women do, where they like to build each other up. But I like. I'm not a 10. I'm not a 10. I'm not. Like, I used to be heavier. I lost weight. Like, I don't have like big boobs. I probably have some stretch marks. Like, I'm just being honest, right? Like, I'm not ashamed of it, because for me, like, I've never been a woman that I was able to build my platform not off of sexualizing myself. You will never find a photo of me with my top off. You will never find a photo of me with my boobs out. You will never find a photo of me like with a man online, because I've been able to build a platform based off of my brain and my, you know, political acumen and things like that. And so for me, like, I don't give a shit in the comments if people think I look like a tranny. I don't care if people think I look like a man. No, but I'm just saying, like, people say things. It doesn't bother me because, like, I don't care if a man wants to fuck me or not, because if he's going to fuck somebody, he's going to do it regardless of whether I give him permission or not, right? Like, that's just reality.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so you guys think women should regard themselves as 10s? You do?
Yes, you should have the highest self-esteem in the world. So. Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's healthy.
But what if it's, like, objectively not true, though? Because to say that you're a 10 effectively means you're perfect.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It just means you're perfectly happy with how you are. You feel like you're perfect for your own self.
But
it's like, in your eyes, you are perfectly fine. If you had the opportunity to go get surgery for free at the doctor, you'd be like, no, I'm fucking fine how I am.
I think
it doesn't mean you think you're
I
perfect.
just think that means you're confident.
You confident.
When a woman says, I'm a 10, that just means that she has confidence, and I feel every woman should have it. Because one man could look at you and be like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful woman I ever seen. And then another man could be like, she ain't all that. But somebody really could look at you and be like, she's the one. So it's opinion based.
And
so your opinion of yourself
about everything
your opinion of yourself should be the highest one in the room.
Yeah.
So that's why when I say it's opinion based, like, you might not think
because
I'm a 10
honestly,
or you're a 10,
in my eyes, I be seeing niggas out with bitches and they like really be big and they girl up like, my woman bad as fuck, and in they eyes she really is the baddest bitch in the room, but everybody else is looking like, what is this nigga, like this young, got money, got doing with her? In his eyes, she really bad as fuck. And it's how she wears it. In his, like...
So...
I think you're never going to please everybody. Fetish.
I've noticed...
Well, that's even opinions.
Fetishes are opinions.
Yeah, like, right nowadays, we look at, like, 10s as, like, the girls with the perfect noses, the big boobs, the airbrush on Instagram, the this, that, the European beauty standards. But I don't think... Me, personally, I think, like, a 10 out of 10 is, like, the beautiful ethnic girls from Africa with, like, the big noses and big foreheads, skinny jawline. That's, to me, is a 10. Like, I don't like all these fake lips, like, these injections, BBLs. To me, that's not a 10. I like the skinny, natural bodies. To me, that's a 10.
Are your boobs real?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Nice. Yeah, they are.
But hold on, are you a man?
Am I a what?
Are you a man?
No, but I know what I like.
So how are you going to tell us what a 10 is?
Because, like I said, it's in the eye of the beholder. It's what I feel
I'm choosing
like,
girls.
in my opinion.
You're not.
But he just asked me what I felt like was a 10.
Oh, okay.
So, but do you like the same thing he likes? Aha.
Actually, yes. However, I'm not a good example. But the majority of people, the world itself, will tell you what you are.
Yeah, like the thing I've always found that's interesting, and I think it's actually destructive for females, is them self-assessing themselves and saying that, like, oh, I'm perfect or whatever. And it's only females that do this shit. Men don't really do that, because, like, for you guys, you're on Instagram, you get a bunch of validation from men. Guys are giving you comments and giving you attention, whether you deserve it or not. And I think that a lot of modern women have, like, a very grand... they have this crazy concept in their head of where they stand, and a lot of the times you guys are where you really stand.
You know what?
Girls
will
say
I'm
perfect. That's true.
I deserve the world. Blah blah blah.
I'm a queen.
I'm a queen, and you have this crazy like belief in yourself, and like with men, like that's the equivalent. What if I walked around and said, you know what? Fuck it. I feel like I'm a billionaire.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be ridiculous for me to say that? Because
like,
effectively speaking, right? So, who is the ultimate consumer of female beauty? It's men. But women feel as though they're the ultimate consumer. No, you guys wear makeup, you guys do all the stuff that you do with your hair extensions, etc. It's typically because men are the end consumer base for female beauty. And with us, right, like men, our value is based on what value do we provide to the world. And a lot of times you're paid in, you know, based on what you can provide. So as a man, your title and your status and how much money you earn typically dictates your value. But I can't run around and say, I'm a billionaire when I'm not, because then you guys will all look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Like, this dude's on some wild shit. And I don't have the tangible proof to show that. But women run around and say, because that's your market value, is your beauty, I'm a 10. That's false advertisement, because very few women, if any, are 10s anyway, because that assumes perfection. Yeah. And most girls are not perfect at all.
I want to say
it barely exists.
Yeah, I agree with that point of view. Like, I don't think that women should look at themselves as, oh, I'm perfect to the point where there's no room for work. I think,
but that's the problem.
Right, that is the issue. And so that's the area that I disagree with.
And I want to say this too, because what this has led to is we have the women ever.
Yep.
Right? And I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Are the most delusional. Y'all are the ones that run around and say you guys are 10s the most. I'm beautiful. I'm a queen. Be 300 fucking to say you deserve the world. That's crazy to me. The average is like 5'5", 187 pounds. Yo, I'm 6'3", like 195, 200, and they're running around and saying that they're fucking, you know, queens. Like who's the chick that Lizzo and shit like that. So I'm not, and this is not just a thing. I'm just saying they're just the fattest. But this is with females in the West in general in the United States, and I think. Like this whole concept of not living an objective reality and saying I'm a queen regardless of how you behave, no need for self-improvement, because we don't tell women that they're fat. We don't tell women that they're stupid. We don't tell them that you look like. We don't tell them any of this stuff. Like women don't handle criticism well, so we never give it to them. But sorry, you're gonna say.
So
please.
let me just clarify. When I say that women should regard themselves in the highest esteem, I mean having confidence. But that does not mean that you can't look in the mirror or look at not even only the physical, but just look within yourself and say, I need to work on this. I need to go to the gym. I need to get healthier. I need to work on my anger management. I need to work on why maybe I am a little oversensitive and not like I lash out on people, or I don't understand where people's coming from, or I need to pick up a book and like, I don't know, read more. Like I need to, and it's okay to be able to grow, but still have confidence.
Like try to hold yourself to this unrealistic point of view.
But for what he's saying, you understand, right?
I understand. People be delusional to the point where they feel like there's no room for growth.
Yeah, the problem is that they attribute, and I see your perspective 100%. There's self-love and then obviously where you objectively stand. Yeah. The problem is that women tend to conflate the two.
Yeah.
Like their self-love comes into like, and hubris, and I don't need to change because I am perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
So it ends up working in a very bad thing. And I think also like you know, like we live in a kind of world now where like bullying is frowned upon, you know, internet bullying, oh my God, this is so bad. Like for men, it's good to get, but we don't really tell women the truth. And I think that's kind of what's, and then you add Instagram in where you got girls, and someone actually, a girl that used to work for us, Red, she said this, and I thought this was very smart, very smart. She said that a lot of times what girls do is they'll assess where they stand off of their pictures on the internet. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so like they'll have like a great photo shoot with edited photos and they'll be like a 9 or a 10 on Instagram and they'll hold themselves to that. Like that's where I stand. But in reality, you meet them in person, like what the fuck? You don't look like your pictures. But they still have that mindset of I attribute my value to what I look at my best on the internet with edits.
Right, that's social media. I don't mean delusion. I just mean healthy confidence.
Yeah. Okay, and how many girls are on social media? Like I would say a majority of women are on Instagram. Every girl I've ever met has an Instagram for the most part.
Yeah.
Except for Laura,
Oh, you're back.
You did have